Hey, business leaders for tomorrow, welcome to the second episode. I'm your host, Amit Chawla, India's leading business clarity coach. There's a famous Japanese proverb: vision without action is daydreaming, and action without vision is a nightmare. Throughout my career, I've encountered various professionals and entrepreneurs. Some brim with big ideas, dreams, and aspirations, but hesitate when it comes to taking action. It's not uncommon to hear them talk about the same ideas years later with no significant progress made towards actualizing them. They often mention that unicorn company, I had the same idea 10 years ago, and pride themselves on this as if it demonstrates their visionary leadership. In reality, however, they are merely daydreaming. On the other extreme, I have met people who are constantly on the move, taking actions, but lack clarity about their aims. They have no discernible vision or grand ambition that they are striving towards. They are just going with the flow, or worse, getting swept away with the flow. It's clear that they're living the nightmare part of the proverb. There's a high possibility that you too are caught up in between. But before I list down the rules that will address your dilemma, let me tell you a real life story of Ashwani, who pops up as a perfect example of a man who actioned his vision rather unnoticed. Not always you need to refer to ideal case studies and lean in to learn more. It may be just around the corner. Otherwise, who would have thought a weekend trip with friends would teach me a significant leadership lesson? Maybe it was my good karma returning. In the outskirts of Gurgaon, you will find a stunning 300-acre nature sanctuary named Karma Lakelands. Yes, you heard that right. With a lush 9-hole golf course, 5 thriving forest zones, irrigated with recycled water, and numerous sustainable practices, it's a haven of tranquility and sustainability. It wasn't just the place, but the concept itself is so thought provoking. Once you have been there, few things will be crystal clear to you. 1. Yes, if there's a will, there's always a way. 2. Any vision can only be successful if it's actioned as per a strategy, not randomly. 3. You need a dedicated team to expand your vision. And 4. Your team needs to believe in and own your vision too, else you cannot sustain in the long run. I had crossed paths with Ashwani, the eco-entrepreneur and founder CEO of Karma Lakelands, at various events and heard much about him from close friends. After a couple of failed attempts, along with close family friends Rahul and Ruchi, we finally managed to book our weekend trip. We set off without any grand expectations. Our two families embarked on our journey, making a pit stop at Haldiram for a hearty breakfast of chole bhature, chaat, and pizza, leaving our concerns about calories at the door. As we pulled up, the peace and greenery at Karma Lakelands greeted us with refreshing contrast to Delhi NCR's chaos and pollution. As we walked in, it reminded me of Ruskin Bond's lungful of diamond-cut air. No, not up there by the dune, but right here at the foothills of the Aravalli. That was amazing. After checking in, we were informed about the resort's rule, which at that moment did not particularly stand out to us. From the gourmet to grandeur, from fresh vegetables to the refreshing ambience, from bee harvesting to waste management, this place makes you feel special, reminding you of the pristine luxury you can gift your soul and soulmates. During the evening, while we were enjoying light drinks near the golf course, Ashwani joined with some guests. Here was a man with a purpose I could sense. His passion and commitment intrigued me. His story dates back to 1989 when Ashwani bought his first piece of land with the sole intention of planting 1 lakh trees within a decade. Today, this property is spread over 300 acres, stands beautiful and green with over 2 lakh trees and plants. As I absorbed his vision that humanity can prosper only when in harmony with nature, it resonated strongly with me. Suddenly, the rules and the staff's action all started to make sense. Ashwani elaborated on his journey, his friendship with legendary artist Nek Chand, the creator of Chandigarh's rock garden, and his relentless commitment to the environment. Good karma pays and manifests through stories it influences. That's an incredible legacy. The resort is built on uncompromising pillars of sustainability. Imagine the extent one can go to adhere to these principles. And why not? Ashwani recounted a couple of incidents that were proof enough of the resort's firm commitment. Once, a Japanese visitor came to the resort to play a round of golf. The resort has a strict no smoking policy with specific areas designated for smokers. The guest was smoking around the arena, unmindful of the rules. The caddy gently reminded the guest of this rule, asking him to refrain from smoking on the golf course. Initially surprised, the guest understood and moved to the designated area to smoke. 2 weeks later, the same guest returned to the resort. Upon encountering Ashwani on the golf course, he expressed gratitude and revealed he had since quit smoking altogether. He attributed his transformation to the resort's strict enforcement of the rules. Now, here's a point to ponder. You may argue, what's the big turn in this? Every resort follows the same set of rules across the globe. That's not the point here. What happened as a result of that intervention is interesting enough. Yes, we have tens and thousands of resorts spread all across. But how many case studies do you recall where a guest returned with an acknowledgement that he transformed and took a bold decision to quit smoking? What's unique is the appreciation of the cause. Sustainability per se had such an impact on a guest. The story doesn't end here. If we dig deeper, the core ethos of the resort, the vision being owned by the last man standing, stands out so vividly. In a different incident, a businessman and his family visited the resort to celebrate his birthday. The resort's policy prohibits guests from walking on the golf course unless they are playing. However, the affluent guests began to carelessly stroll on the grass and litter. An attendant who noticed this politely asked them to stop, which led to them taking offense and becoming irate. As the situation escalated, Ashwani had to intervene. He supported his team and the attendant, informing the wealthy guests that they would be asked to leave the resort if they continued to disrespect its rules. If necessary, their money would be refunded. Think of it. I don't think I know of many who would stay put like him. There is legs to any vision. It's almost like a magic cube unfolding. It became clearer to me when Ashwani said that he is an active supporter of the Save Soil initiative. This global campaign, initiated by Sadhguru, aims to tackle the soil crisis by rallying people from around the world. The mission is to promote soil health and encourage leaders of all nations to implement national policies and actions that enhance the organic content in soil. Mostly, we tend to ignore the vision mission statement in a company's website. But the importance of it suddenly stood out when we returned from our stay. It made every bit of sense simply because every team member at Karma Lakeland lived by that oath. That's a classic case of vision in action, I must admit. Make sure you plan a trip to this wonderful stopover, not just to unwind, but I'm sure you'll also appreciate the ways a vision has unfolded into a purpose driven recreation. The trip to Karma Lakelands was enlightening. It inspired me to delve deeper into my own vision and take concrete actions towards it. Ashwani's journey underscores the importance of having a clear vision and acting on it. And the vision must be inspiring. Humanity can prosper only when in harmony with nature. Isn't it so meaningful? When a company's vision and values are deeply ingrained within the team, they can profoundly influence its clients as well. A transformative leader must indeed have a clarity of vision coupled with decisive action. Remember the Japanese proverb I mentioned at the beginning? Vision without action is daydreaming, and action without vision is a nightmare. Fact remains, don't merely daydream and don't live a nightmare. Create something worthwhile, and your life will be worth living. So, dear future business leaders, have you clearly articulated your vision? And if you have, are you taking appropriate action to realize it? Just remember, to become a transformative leader, you must be both a visionary and an action taker. Having only one is insufficient. Decision making and ownership. Which one is more important in business? How do you make sure you do the balancing act? Stay tuned for another unique conflict resolution story in the next episode. See you there.